These 3 features will change MLB The Show forever. Well, if they ever get implemented. That is because these ideas aren't official, or even from the developers themselves. They're from me. Don't click away. Hear me out. Something I find myself doing a lot lately when playing MLB The Show is drawing up ideas in my head in a rapid-fire fashion. Truly, it's a curse, but I promise I do have some good ideas. Why does this happen? I've always been a creative person. My teachers in school like to call this insubordinate behavior. I called it alternative thinking. I've also really gotten into game development lately. For the last 2 years or so, I've been insatiably consuming all things game development. Shout out to Did You Know Gaming on YouTube, just keeping me up to date with all the kinds of trivia and behind-the-scenes stuff that I love. I'm not interested in coding at all, but I'd love to be a part of a concept team. I love the theoretical side. Think of me like a gaming version of Oppenheimer, but slightly lobotomized. Enough stalling. Let's get to why you're here. My ideas.
Get up.
Let's start with the simplest of the ideas, and then we'll get into the more complex ones after. Number 3, Diamond Dynasty custom batting practice. This is something that drives me insane because it should already be in the game, because it already is. Not quite, but the framework is though. There is custom practice in the main menu, but you have to use offline rosters or custom rosters. Here's a little trick for you guys though. I'll slowly walk you through it on how to download Diamond Dynasty rosters here. It's like a workaround that the community's come up with. Shout out to the community, you're all the best. Create rosters with like meta players and so on and so forth to kind of replicate head-to-head gameplay online. I also recommend bumping up sliders a bit too for, 2 ticks up for fastball velocity, and off-speed velocity is good enough. Maybe just 1 for off-speed, but whatever. It's not perfect, but it's more than good enough to get the job done. Fun fact, custom Diamond Dynasty batting practice, whatever, is one of the few things I went out of my way to ask the dev team about prior to the launch of MLB 22, which was the last time I was invited to speak with the team prior to a new game launch. If you guys want to hear about that whole meeting and the few things I asked them about, and all the conversations, let me know. It's a whole separate video. The devs at the time told me they considered it, but ultimately questioned whether it would offer value to the game. Essentially, they asked themselves if it would be a solid investment of time and resources. I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me. The specific words is hard to remember as it's been a few years. The central point, though, is that they ultimately decided not to add it. While I struggled to see their perspective on this, I at least respected the transparency. That is until MLB 23, when they added defensive practice. This confirmed for me that it was all about ease of development. Defensive practice is extremely unnecessary as defense is extremely automated for the most part in MLB The Show, and compared to Diamond Dynasty specific custom practice, actually using your team hitting with them, it's far less desirable to the community. But here's the thing. Defense practice isn't a new feature as it was pitched to us. Kind of was pitched to us that way. It was something they already had in their game development kits or their debug menus that they just kind of ported into the final product to add a bullet point to the list of new features. No shade, it just is what it is. Gotta call a spade a spade. Hopefully, in the future, we see Diamond Dynasty custom practice. This opens up so many opportunities for content creators, online and offline DD regular players, and even new players. We would be able to try out new cards without having to commit to a full game. We could practice with a card we want to be better with, and so on and so forth. Anyway, that's it. On to number 2, reworking pitcher stamina. Specifically, I don't want to play musical chairs with my starting rotation all of the time just to be able to try out new arms. And also, why don't starters regenerate stamina unless they are in your rotation? It promotes rotation stagnation, and if you need to have somebody make a spot start, you remember that everybody is practically deceased, despite the fact that you only tried them once and it was like 6 weeks ago. How could you even remember all that? This one is a relatively easy fix. You just give pitchers who aren't in your rotation a 25% stamina regeneration rate compared to the starters who are in your rotation. It's extremely doable in my opinion, and not even close to being broken. Who can possibly keep track of all of their pitchers in their binder and manage stamina like that? I also want to see pitchers only lose stamina for the pitches they actually threw, unless they come out of the bullpen. Then that 50% stamina penalty can hit the starters. I absolutely understand that. But it makes zero sense when Timmy quits after 3 batters and 8 pitches and my starter's dead on the side of the road. This one requires a new string of code and some tweaking to existing code, but ultimately it can't be that difficult, right? Right? I promise, I'm not angry. I just really love this franchise, and I want to see it do well. As someone who grew up under critical eyes of coaches and scouts, plus a father who's extremely detail-oriented, I am not. I have learned the little things go a very long way. I wouldn't talk about this at all if I didn't care about the game. The final feature. Number 1, baby. This is the big one. Equipment boosts. Now this one's a little bit more of a positive thing because it's kind of a new idea. Hear me out. Only applicable to one card at a time in your lineup. This can take the form of either 1 +10 boost or 2 +5s in 2 separate attribute categories. Take this Acuna card, for example. Not a bad card by any means, but definitely hurting in some key areas. Not good enough defensively to justify starting him in the field, and not offensively stacked enough to be an elite DH. But he's a fan favorite, myself included. So how can we fix him? Take a look at my fantastic artwork. It was Show Zone, obviously. I didn't do this. I used their card builder to illustrate what it would look like if we gave him a +10 to his vision rating, where he was lacking the most on offense, and got his ass all the way up to a 90 at parallel 5 in that category. With Acuna's deliciously sweet swing, 90 is more than enough, but I also built him with a +5 fielding and reaction version, and then a +10 reaction version. I mean, look at these cards. I personally would go either +10 vision and DH him or +10 reaction and put him out there in right field, but that just fits my taste better. It's up to you. Now, why do I like this concept so much? Because no matter what happens to your favorite player, you can always salvage them. If the card can't be at least made usable by this, then that card's just stinky poo-poo cat shit. Now, overall, these are my ideas. Hopefully they come into fruition. We don't know. But let me know what you lovely individuals think in the comment section below. I want to know. Peace.